This video is being done in response to the recent events for the Correction Officers Benevolent Association. As you all are aware, I'm sure, from reading the newspapers, that Norman Seabrook, the president of the Correction Officers Benevolent Association, has been arrested, suspended, and removed from his position pursuant to alleged crimes against the membership. The executive board is currently under investigation for the same subject, alleged crimes against the membership. The law firm, Kohler & Isaacs, is also under federal investigation for the same thing. I bring this video out as a response to many Facebook inquiries, inboxes, text messages to me, asking me what's going on and what I believe we should do moving forward. It certainly is unfortunate for correction officers that we're portrayed in a negative light. Norman Seabrook's arrest came the day after the Bronx jury's decision to find several of our members of the department guilty of alleged abuse of power offenses. I think that was a great miscarriage of justice. And going through this process, personally myself, my faith in the judicial system is a bit skewed. I am a law enforcement officer. I always have been. I've upheld myself with the highest amount of integrity and professionalism throughout my 26 years. We work for the same system that wound up misunderstanding what it is that we're here for, what it is that we do, and our purpose in the law enforcement community. That event was sad to me and many others. I don't believe that that's over. I believe that they have some things available to them, and I'm hoping and imploring the judges in this case to, when it's time for sentencing, to come up with the most lenient sentence that there is. These people have suffered over the last several years, so have their families, and quite frankly, the use of force in question was unremarkable as far as uses of force go in the Department of Correction. So I'm hoping that they'll see through all of the miscarriage of justice, and they'll be able to come to a fair sentencing for our members of service. And quite frankly, I believe that that sentencing should be time served, because at the end of the day, they have suffered, as have their families, for these alleged offenses. All right, I want to get off of that subject and move forward at this point to the current state of affairs with the Correction Officers Union. We're all correction officers. We're all certainly concerned about what's going on. We are certainly entitled to answers to our questions, which we're not getting. I would hate to bring up the time that Norman Seabrook issued an urgent letter to all members of the department, retired and active, when I requested the member list, which incidentally, I'm the only authorized individual on the board tasked with maintaining and upkeeping that member list. So I requested a member list, never got it, and he put out an urgent letter to all correction officers, and even picked up LifeLock for a year to protect you from any type of alleged theft or whatever he was claiming I was trying to do. My point is that here we are with an arrest of the leader of our union, suspension, removal from his position turmoil within the union. The executive board still under federal investigation and not out of the woods by any means, and subject to the same penalties that the president is subjected to. And here we are, not a letter, not an explanation, not a YouTube video, not a special meeting, nothing. Nothing to address the membership and tell us that everything is going to be okay. I think if LifeLock was ever an issue, I think maybe now we can use that LifeLock protection more than ever. I believe that that's the wrong way to go about this. And the membership certainly has the power to call for a special meeting so that we can get answers and we can ask our questions and we can get some sort of feeling as to where we're going with the union. You currently have an election going on. The ballots are in the mail. Most of you have filled them out and sent them in. Some of you haven't. But those ballots are due to be counted on the 22nd of June, which would finalize this election. And ironically, although everybody's under federal investigation and for alleged crimes against you, everybody's running unopposed for their union offices. I find that amazing. Pretty much almost everybody was disqualified that attempted or tried to campaign for a position on the executive board. And I believe that that was done based on the manipulation of the Constitution and bylaws that completely manipulates the election process and makes it so that the current board can be in there forever if they wanted to. I don't believe that that's the spirit and intent of our bylaws. I don't believe that that's the spirit and intent of our union. This is a democracy and not a dictatorship. You can see what happens when you run it as a dictatorship. Just look at the news. Just read an article. I mean, it's everywhere. And it's bad because it paints us in a bad light. I'd like to move past that and move forward and try to get some stability in our union, therefore causing stability for the department. You can't have one without the other. So I wanted to answer a few questions that were posed on Facebook and through text messages, through conversations, etc. The membership of the COBA, which is you, have the power to do anything that they want. Anything that you want done can be done. If you show up with a quorum, a voting quorum, you make motions at our meetings, and someone seconds the motion, you take a vote on it, and that must be enacted. At the end of the day, the power, and this is a quote from our bylaws, the power of the association rests with the membership at a regular general membership meeting. So if you come out to these meetings, I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. We've never had so much overtime. We've never had it so bad. We've never had so many assaults. We've never had so many splashings. I mean, we're in bad shape. But in order for us to climb out of this hole, we have to make a commitment now and come out and let our voices be heard and our demands be met. I know a lot of you can't even get the day off to go to your children's birthday party. I know it's difficult for you to get home and get sleep, much less come out to a union meeting and care about what's going on. I'm hoping that enough of you are out there that can make that commitment and come out and let your voice be heard. It's what you want. It's not what they want. One thing that I think that the COBA has forgotten, and that's why I felt that I didn't fit in there so many years, is that we work for the membership. We work for you, not the other way around. Furthermore, our loyalty as board members, as delegates, anyone who works for the union, works for the members. Our loyalty is to the membership, to make sure your benefits are good, to make sure that your demands are met, to make sure that your safety is taken into account, to make sure that we protect you from rules, regulations, op orders, policies and procedures that are written that have negative impact on you. It's our job to make sure that if inmates assault you, that they're dealt with to the fullest extent of the law. We're supposed to be loyal to the membership, not to Norman Seabrook, not to the president. That's where a lot of people got it confused. They believed that their loyalty was to Norman and not to you, therefore enabling Norman to do whatever he wanted. And that's exactly what happened. So, read the papers, talk amongst each other. There's a million stories out there on how this came to be. I've objected, questioned, and opposed this whole time. Some people said I was lying. Some people said I was spiteful. Some people said that until after I was removed, I was part of the problem. That's all incorrect. Me and Norman have had many, many battles, arguments at that executive board table. That's not something that the membership knows about. That's not something that we broadcast. But I have been his opposition, the thorn in his side, for a long time. Because at the end of the day, I was responsible for the union just as he was. We were all responsible for the union. And you're not going to take arbitrary action and do what you want. And I'm responsible for it. We have to discuss it. We have to agree to disagree. That's the reason you have an executive board. To disagree. To swoosh things around at the table and vote on what the right way to go about it is. And the majority rules. But that's not the way it was happening. And I'm sure reading all the papers and seeing the news reports, you could pretty much figure it out for yourself that that's not the way it happened. All of this is past tense. All of it. There's nothing anybody can do about this at this point. This is moving forward the way it is. You have an opportunity to move forward and make the changes you need done. Some intelligent motions at a union meeting where 200 officers show up. That's a start. You make these motions. You decide what it is that you want to do. Do you want this election to count? Do you want this election to be voided? Why? Do you want a new election? A special election? Do you want the bylaws to remain in full effect? Or do you want the bylaws suspended? Or do you want to change the bylaws altogether? You can do all of these things. You can accomplish all of these things. Do you want Norman Seabrook's legal expenses to be paid by you? Or do you want that suspended as well? Do you want him to pay out of his own pocket for those things that he's being represented for? Do you want it to be a lawyer that gets $1,000 an hour? Or do you want it to be the lawyers that every one of us get, that get $300 to $400 an hour? All of these things are up to you. That's it. You come together. It is a democratic process. You vote on it, and you make it be so. Look, at this point, this is not an axe that I have to grind. I was removed from the executive board illegally. They violated the not-for-profit corporation law when they removed me. Okay? They violated the law. I took it through the legal process. I retained my own attorneys, paid for them myself, and it's currently in court. All right? That matter is being dealt with. I don't need the membership to help me with that. That is what it is. But my concern now is for the welfare of the membership of COBA. I could have retired a long time ago. I have my time in. When this all started, Instead of going through the aggravation, frustration, loss of money and humiliation and all the things that I've gone through over the last year, I didn't have to go through that. I risked everything so that I can make sure that this doesn't happen. I risked everything to make sure that your union dues were safe. I risked everything to make sure that what he was doing had to be stopped. My loyalty was to the membership of COBA. It's not to Norman Seabrook, nor has it ever been. He had a saying like he was the boss. I'm the boss. You're not the boss. You're the president. Those are two different things. We're all voted in. We were all elected to perform a function. And I have 26 years of service on this job, 14 years as a delegate, 5 as a board member. I've been very successful. Take a look at my website, policeofthejails.com. Look at it. It explains my qualifications. It explains my success rate for you, for COBA, the membership. I'm not leaving on a low note. I'm not leaving this job with officers suffering the way that they are. I can't do it. I have to do everything in my power to make sure that we can get the change that we need. You can spin it however you want to. There are people that are watching this video that love Norman, that will never ever go against Norman, that no matter what they say in the paper, what he's alleged to do, what he's accused of, what he's convicted of, it doesn't matter. You know, they're not going to go against him. I'm not trying to convince those people of anything. At the end of the day, you're entitled to that. If that's what you want, you're entitled to it. But I believe that the good majority of this job, the officers do not want what was happening to continue. They do not want a union that just sits back and allows the department and others to just abuse you, take advantage of you. We have never had it so bad ever. The benefits that we have are substandard. They're from 1995. These newer officers don't even realize the amount of benefits that they've lost. Norman lost benefits for you. Those benefits can be retrieved. This situation can be turned around. We can come out of this victorious. It's up to you. That's my message. It's up to you. There are petitions out there for a special meeting. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. Any meeting at this point is good where we can all sit down with the executive board and go over what's happened and what they intend to do and how we're going to move forward. You can have your will be done at these meetings. Currently, the meeting is scheduled for June 22nd. That meeting is going to take place at the American Arbitration Association. People are going to show up, and that meeting is for the purpose of counting the ballots. It says it. COBA business is put aside that day to count the ballots. There's nothing you can do. These ballots will be counted on that day. The next meeting is supposed to be July. The July meeting is canceled, as it is every year. The meeting after that is August. August is normally when the executive board and the delegates go to their delegate seminar upstate or in New Jersey. So usually there's no meeting in August. So the next scheduled meeting is going to be in September. So either you're going to call a special meeting before that to identify these problems and address them and move forward, or show up to the September general membership meeting in force. And hopefully you haven't forgotten what's going on here. And by then, you'll be even more informed as to what really went on and what's happening. This is my suggestions to you. I don't believe that we should sit back and allow this to occur. Should the executive board stay? Should they go? That decision is yours. My theory is that everything that was done was allowed to be done. It was allowed to be done because, again, their loyalty was to Norman Seabrook when their loyalty should have been to you. It's only going to continue. I mean, there's a lot of dead weight on that board. I've posted my qualifications for the position that I wanted to run for. It's on my website. I know the qualifications of the board members. Very slim to none. Go through them one at a time and see what they've done, what they've accomplished for you. What's their claim to fame? What's their experience on this job? What have they successfully done for the membership? Have they filed grievances? Do they know how to file a grievance? Have they done a PESH complaint or gotten the department to be fined in any way or held responsible for things? Have they filed any lawsuits against the department and won them? What have they done? I mean, look, if they got you a Gate 1, if they got you a transfer, if they turned a 4-day CD into a 3-day CD, if they bought some things for your barbecue, got you a plaque, made some announcements at roll call, yelled and screamed. You know, these are all remedial tasks for a COBA executive board member. It's not anything special. So you really have to think, where did they come from? What have they done? What's their relationship with the officers? Have they helped officers their whole career, or have they kind of let people hang out there to dry? Are they zero in the equation? Do they know how to do a labor management meeting? Do they know how to do a grievance? Do they know how to do a PESH complaint or a lawsuit against the department or take some sort of action? Are they assertive when they speak to your administrators? Or do they walk in the jail and just go straight to the warden's office, have something to drink and eat, talk, and leave? Do they speak to the officers? Do they take up your fight and go in there and fight it for you? These are all questions you have to ask before you decide, am I going to keep them or am I going to get rid of them? And at the end of the day, the biggest fight that they had to fight for you, they didn't fight it. They allowed it to continue. They allowed it to happen because Norman was so scary. Norman intimidated them. Whatever the case may be. Again, my loyalty has always been to the membership, not to Norman Seabrook. And those are the type of people that you want in charge. Those are the type of people that you want. Someone with know-how, someone with experience, someone who's been there before and knows, hey, listen, we can improve their benefits by doing this. Hey, listen, we can address the department and get successfully by doing this. Hey, we can file this lawsuit. I mean, I've asked for so many things to happen that have not happened. Suddenly, they're starting to happen. Incidentally, the last lawsuit they filed was unsuccessful. Look, this law firm is unsuccessful. These benefits are substandard. The department's not nervous or scared in any way to deal with us. People are just, they're getting over. And they're being allowed to get over. You want somebody there that's enthusiastic, successful, that can get the job done. I believe that I'm one of those people. I believe there's others out there that are the same. Okay? Currently, I'm ineligible to run for the position. That was deemed so by the judge. But who knows what's going to happen from now till a month from now, till the September meeting or whatever we're going to meet again. You never know. Things can change in an instant. My message to you is stand together, pick a side and stay there. Decide what it is that you want. Come out, show up, and make it happen. You have the power. You always have. You've never not had the power. Why do you think the union meetings were never done at a time that's cohesive for the officers? Because every union meeting that you don't show up to is another 30 days that Norman Seabrook has total power. That was done on purpose. Why do you think that was done? Why do you think when they wanted to change things or make things different, they hold the meetings at different times? Incidentally, the meeting that they called to change the bylaws, they held it at 4 o'clock. They waited and it didn't start until 6 o'clock. They made that accommodation because they wanted to pass these bylaws. But every other meeting starts at 9 o'clock, ends at 9:03. Sorry, we don't have enough people here. Thanks for coming out. Go home. Ridiculous. They have a fiduciary responsibility to do business and hear the membership's concerns. But they don't have a meeting? It's funny how they disqualified half of these people for missing 10 consecutive meetings. The COBA has not had 10 consecutive meetings. We've gone 4 years without a meeting. So I don't even understand how they address this. I don't understand how they enforce such a thing. But again, they interpret the bylaws the way they see fit. They're used to doing whatever they want without opposition. Well, let me tell you, I'm the opposition. I've always been the opposition, and I will always be the opposition. So I'm available. I'm here. I will come to the meetings. I will help you do what it is that you want to get done. I'm available. Contact me at any time. William Valentin. I'm in ESU currently, and I'll be around for a little bit. The fight is not over. This is not over. It's time to take action.